Right, so let's talk about raising profiles, right? One technique in PR, never let truth get in the way of a good story, right? In the early days, Video Island and Love Film were going hammer and tong at each other, creating noise, and we built an industry in the UK. We acquired businesses in Norway, Sweden, Denmark, in Germany, and we built scale when we did that. But stay within the side of the law, right? But really, even if your technology is a bit behind, don't wait for everything to be completed. Get out there with your vision, engage customers, and speak on a regular basis, right? The power and word of mouth can never be underestimated, but are you differentiated enough to create that conversation outside of the website? And that's one thing. If you want to, Peter talked about this before, if you want to get that power of 3 or 4x, then you need to be able to have that real point of difference. From a media point of view, right, increasingly, think about if you work on a newspaper, if you work in the TV, there is significantly less and less editorial staff in all these publications than there was before. So you need to help them build their story and give them the story in the first place. So is it interesting? Is it relevant? In a crowded market, will you get cut through? And you can get PR, and it's a hugely, hugely valuable tool. In fact, I think it's one of the most important tools in a startup to create noise and to create opportunity around the business. And from an investor point of view, use your meetings wisely and ask for help. Well, I lived in Ireland for a while, and they had this great expression, never leave a meeting without asking the person that you're having a discussion with, who else do you think you can introduce me to? You'll be amazed how many doors open just by asking that simple question, and don't be shy about asking it. In the early days of Love Film, I got on a plane and flew over to the West Coast to meet Reed Hastings, the founder of Netflix, who started the whole concept going. And I basically said to him, what are your plans for international? And he said, I'm going to wait to see who wins between Video Island and Love Film, and then I'll probably end up doing something. On the plane back, I wrote the business plan for merging Video Island and Love Film so that we could take control of our own destiny. And that was the biggest single thing we did. We created a bigger business with critical mass, and we actually won UK and all the markets that we were in as a result of that. The elevator pitch. Peter talked on this. I'm not going to go into it in too much detail. Can you simplify your business message, right? Jewels in space, better than anybody else can in a quick period of time. And remember that investors back people, right? They back you, and they want to see your commitment, your involvement, and your engagement. So, you know, Richard, for example, in MOO, you know, he wants to help the Fortune 5 million look great. Right? Simple concept. There are millions and millions of small businesses out there, and he wants to make those businesses look great both online and in cards. But he also wants to go beyond print, and that's why they bought flavors.me and why they've really pushed that hard. But never underestimate word and mouth in terms of what's going on. So, for example, MOO had huge increases in customer value, increasing quite significantly, and they continue to get year-on-year customer value growing on a full basis. The reason I'm flicking between some slides is because there's some that have been missing from here. In what we did in Love Film is we actually did an analysis by postcode, and we found that in penetration of the Love Film service was growing fastest in the highest penetrated postcodes because word and mouth was working. And that was really the accelerator that happened because it was a service that people were talking about and people were growing there. The other thing we focused on very clearly is Net Promoter Score. MOO has a Net Promoter Score of about 74-75%, right? And there is an opportunity to significantly improve that from where it is. What we did at Love Film is we looked at our Net Promoter Score for everybody who had a bad customer experience. And our goal was to make that Net Promoter Score better than people who had a good customer experience through the way we handled that. And that meant that actually we were building our brand through the way we handled issues and the way we handled questions. So looking at culture, and Lucy touched a lot on culture and what that means for us. Getting people out there, engaging your staff, having regular meetings, having barbecues in the car park, having parties, but as well as laying out the vision, setting big goals for people to do that, and rewarding people when you hit those big goals. At Love Film, we paid people a big bonus when we became EBITDA positive. We paid people a big bonus when we got to 1 million customers, and people were aligned behind hitting those goals on a regular basis. And for me, one of the biggest changes that we had in the business in Love Film, and this is the reception area here, is I had a phone call from a headhunter about 2008, 2009, and they said, I've had 3 people in my office this morning, and I've asked them what type of company they want to work for, and they've all said Love Film. And when you have that happening for you, when you get positive reinforcement, then you know you're onto a good thing in being able to attract the great talent. So, securing investment. That's why a lot of people are here. They want to get money in. That's just some of my tips that I've pulled through for that. Investors back people they trust with their cash, not the last person who's walked through the door. So it was really hard to raise cash from investors if the first time you speak to them is when you say, can I have some cash, please? Build a relationship, plan ahead, 6 to 12 months ahead. Who are the likely people that are going to be investing in this business, and who should I be speaking to? So make that work. Think cash conversion cycles. How can I make my cash work harder for me? How can I get paid by my customers before I pay my suppliers or my employees, so that actually I don't need to generate working capital as the business scales and as the business grows? That's really important. Target the sweet spot of investors. If you're looking for angel round, don't go speaking to big VCs or big private equity houses who aren't going to write those checks. Target the right people and stay focused on a few to make it really, really effective. You know, every fund out there has its rules, has its preferences of how it operates and what it does. But the other tip I would say is when you present a business plan for an investment community and it takes 3 months to close the deal, make sure you hit the numbers in the 3 months. Because you know what, it's very difficult to go back and say, I know I haven't hit those numbers, but I'm going to hit every number in the plan going forward, because people won't believe you, right? Lead the process, don't be led. This is your business. Be confident in it, be confident in your plan, and you set the milestones and the time frames of when you do things. I know that sometimes may feel very difficult when you're dealing with large companies who do it a lot, but you know what? They want to invest in your business. Their job is investing. And if they don't put their money to work, they're never going to make money. And if you are a good company, they will actually ultimately come to you. So, you know, be firm, be strong, and ensure you're doing things the right way. And the final thing I would say is, when VCs and private equity at Love Film, I had 4 VCs and 1 strategic partner around the board table, which was interesting discussions a lot of the time. But I would say it's not personal when they talk about exits. That's their job, and that's what they've got to work on. And you should be thinking about, when you take seed money and when you take VC money, make sure that you're thinking about what a potential exit could be, because that's what they're going to be interested in working through to their investment committees, which is what Peter was talking about before.